Tim, it is a Tuesday night as we sit here. You see behind me, see how dark it's getting? But it's crazy.
Sad. It's
we
sad.
lose minutes every day of light, but that's neither here nor there.
The good news here is that on December 21st, only 3 months away, the days will start getting longer again. Isn't that nice? Yeah.
The eternal optimist. And, you know, I think that's encouraging for somebody whose team fell 6 games under 500 last night and has to win out just to get to mediocrity, which I just find, you know, it's unfortunate because Jake DeGrom threw a nice game, threw a gem last night. I think he K'd 14, a lot of swings and misses, as you know, which is a great sign of just dominating stuff.
I tell you what, $100, the Yankees are out by the 4th game of the playoffs. How about that? You know, because I mean, we could do this till the end of time. I've already acknowledged, and I'm never at a loss for acknowledging I love my team. No matter what you say, I'm going to love my team. And I know that they have flaws. In fact, they have more flaws as of September 21st or 22nd or whatever today's date is than I thought they had on opening day. But it doesn't really matter because, in fact, our team will be better next year. That's my glass half full. Your team will once again disappoint its fans and lose in the first round of the playoffs, probably to the Astros, although they probably can't play the Astros, which is good because that means you won't have something to whine about. And I realize that the Astros are a difficult topic for you. But I mean, if you want to get my dander up, we can do this. And in fact, let's just throw some greenbacks down right now so that, in fact, we've got
I don't like to wait. I'm not a wagerer.
But we love talking about sports betting. You love the story of DraftKings. I mean, come on, man.
But I am not. But doesn't mean I'm a user of their product. But I understand the power of their product.
The secular trend.
And by the way, quickly, you know this. I know you know this. I didn't say word one about the Stros when that whole thing came down. I said they deserved to win. I was fine with the whole thing. Listen, we have the tapes of these things. We've done 110 of these, and on one of them, I know that we had this conversation.
Well, I mean, it's fair. It's actually, that's very fair on your part because I think the Astros have beaten the Yankees 4 straight postseasons. How many has it been? Because were they banging the trash cans every single time? How about like on that one game where Dallas Keuchel looked like Cy Young against you guys? I mean, I know these are tough times, and when you spend that kind of loot on Giancarlo, don't call me what was his name?
Michael, I believe.
Michael. How do you go from Michael to Giancarlo? By the way,
I don't know, Tim. Maybe he lost a dear family member at an untimely death.
Once again, making me to be the bad guy. Look. It's almost like an Albert "Don't call me Joey Bell" moment, right? I mean, it's like suddenly this guy wakes up and he's pissed off at me for calling him Michael Stanton when in fact that's on the back of his goddamn baseball card. Okay. It's not my fault.
You're fired up.
Well,
listen,
I mean,
so let's get. Today. I know you're fired up about something else, and I want to. So you made a great point on the show. You've made this point before that Nike has done a masterful job of just selling their stuff straight to the consumer. DTC, direct to the consumer.
Yep.
And your point, and I want you to talk about this. If Nike can do it with sneakers, why can't GM and Ford do it with cars? First of all, there is. There are dynamics to the wholesaling market in the auto industry that also I think has some regulatory dynamics. It's not that difficult to sell sneakers over state lines, and I do think that the auto industry has more complex regulation. But the costs and the attached to essentially the wholesale market, which are auto dealers. I mean, auto dealers do better than the car companies, and we've seen also where this has become a very, very emotional issue around Tesla, and in fact, where actually Tesla has effectively controlled their own distribution, a reason to pat them on the back. And it's interesting because while probably no business to attach the innovation at Tesla to possible innovation at GM and Ford, I do think that if these guys were going straight to the consumer and offering sales and actually controlling their own distribution, this isn't a Tesla discussion, but also today is battery day in Tesla. And if you're going to tell me that GM and Ford have no EV technology as it relates to batteries, you're crazy. Ultimately, Tesla is given a lot of credit for innovation that they're telling you is going to happen tomorrow. So back to the auto companies that are here today.
And the other part of this story here is it's not only the example of Nike that is destroying Adidas and Under Armour and other players, but it's also a dynamic where if you think about the car companies that we do talk about, Carvana, CarMax, why are they doing so well? Part of it is the innovation, but part of this is the fact that the secondary market for cars is red hot. If the secondary market for cars is red hot, the primary market for cars is red hot. That's just the way this stuff works. So you can't tell me the current environment isn't naturally surprisingly, again, another surprise of COVID that we didn't expect. But people thought that cars would be, no one would have money for cars, that cars would be the last thing people would buy. It's what everybody's going out to buy. So why are Ford and GM not taking part in this bonanza that is the car market? And it's not just used cars, folks. I'd like to go down and buy a new car today. But the reality is that I know that I'm waiting in line with a lot of other people. And I don't even want to walk into that dealership because that process sucks. How am I doing?
And you're doing great. And the answer to your question is because they're stuck somewhere in the 1960s because there's been no evolution in terms of the business model. And that's just flat out true.
But I didn't just invent this idea. Why isn't this happening? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And again, if you give somebody the ability to log on and yeah, you can create your own car online. You can customize it like you might customize your house. And we talked about that. By the way, when on air, I referred that guy's probably customizing his jungle room, which is a reference to Elvis, where a lot of stuff went down in the jungle room. Is there a room in your house? Do you have a man cave? Is there something that is your spot that's got the guy stamp?
So
just this is my.
So
place.
when you're talking about Elvis, are you talking about Elvis Costello? Are you talking about Elvis Patterson? Are you talking
I'm talking about Elvis Peacock. Come on,
Elvis,
man. I mean,
no, I don't
talking
know.
about Elvis Presley.
How do you know about
I'm talking about Elvis
about the
Valentine.
jungle
He played outfield
room
for the Montreal Expos in the year. Elvis Presley. There's one Elvis. There's Madonna. There's Bono. There's Sting. There's Elvis. Come on.
Well, I wasn't familiar with his jungle room. I mean, clearly you're watching too many late night documentaries about the King. I mean, God only knows what went down.
Dude, he's one of the most important influences in rock and roll history. And tomorrow, by the way, we're going to go through the top 500 albums of all time.
I heard that that's out.
And there's going to be some real controversy in there that you and I are going to get to the bottom of. But anyway, so
it's going to get a little heated. Look, I will tell you, I don't have a jungle room. I don't have a man cave. I hate the term man. I mean, everything about it. No, because it's ridiculous. It's dopey. That's why.
Okay,
and I'm telling you guys out there right now, if you tell your buddies, come to my man cave, here you go. Don't at me. You're a
loser. So
yeah.
So hold on a second though. But this makes me feel bad for you. Because first of all, I love your wife, I love your family, but a man's home is his castle, and at some point, there's got to be a corner of that castle that's yours. Have they stolen every piece of that from you?
Pretty much.
Is there nothing left?
There's. I mean, the garage is. It's so funny. Reality. I think our garage is pristine, and when I'm using the word for, I think you can eat off the floors.
In garage terms, on a
no, it
just
just
for
no,
garages.
just. I mean, I'm telling you, the garage it's banging.
Why?
There are people deliver stuff like, oh my God,
why?
you got the nicest garage I've ever seen. And then Linda came down last week and says our garage is a shithole.
Well, look, Linda, she runs a tight ship, and I don't blame her. But why have a pristine garage, bro? I mean, my garage is, by the way, that's where my drums are set up. I just put a dartboard up there. Look, I'm settling into the burbs, dude. It's I've got stuff going on in my garage. In fact, I've got my stereo set up from high school that I've kept with me all these years, and I'm cranking BAB in the garage. By the way,
well, listen, all of this is for tomorrow's show because we're up against it, and Lukey is waiting up in London, and we got to get out of here. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you. Wow, just like that. See you tomorrow.